I'm standing in awe and admiration for Canada. Hello, this is Peter Mansbridge. It's a reporter's duty to be unbiased, but I'm so proud of Canadians everywhere, standing united, buying Canadian products, supporting Canadian businesses, and our very way of life. Shop as if your country depends on it. Keep your money in Canada for Canada.
What up, Mike? Toronto. VK on the beat. Check. I'm in Toronto where you wanna get the city love. I'm from Toronto where you wanna get the city love. I'm in Toronto like we wanna get the city love. My city love me back for my city love.
Welcome to episode 1678 of Toronto Mic'd. Proudly brought to you by Great Lakes Brewery, a fiercely independent craft brewery who believes in supporting communities, good times, and brewing amazing beer. Order online for free local home delivery in the GTA. Palma Pasta. Enjoy the taste of fresh, homemade Italian pasta and entrees from Palma Pasta in Mississauga and Oakville. Yes, we are open. An award-winning podcast from Monaris, hosted by FOTM El Grego. Silverwax.ca. Use promo code TorontoMike10 at checkout and save 10%. RecycleMyElectronics.ca. Committing to our planet's future means properly recycling our electronics of the past. Building Toronto Skyline, a book and podcast from Nick Iones, sponsored by Fusion Corp Construction Management Inc. and Ridley Funeral Home, pillars of the community since 1921. Joining me today, making her Toronto Mic debut, is the Queen of Pies, Arlene Lott. Welcome, Arlene.
Hey, thank you.
Is that an official title, Queen of Pies?
You know, my friend and producer at the CBC, Portia Corman, coined that. Princess of Pie, in fact, for the CBC. But I'll take Queen.
Okay, you know
Queen.
what?
I'll take the upgrade.
I'm promoting you.
Thank you.
Princess, you're the Queen of Pies,
I'll
Arlene.
take it. Yeah, thank you.
So this pies business, we're going to dive into that a little later. Are you a Toronto Maple Leafs fan?
Have been.
Are you currently a Toronto Maple Leafs fan?
I am currently uninformed.
Okay, so you've tapped out. You're not currently engaged.
I used to watch hockey when I was little with my dad. It was like a tradition. And the way I used to get to stay up late at night was just by begging to watch the Peter Puck cartoons.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Peter Puck is a FOTM, a friend of Toronto Mike. Yeah, Brian McFarlane is his name. He's still with us in like 90-something.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I remember Peter Puck too.
But
so we're similar vintage.
So I used to watch a bit of sports with my dad, but then I kind of fell off.
So you're not watching the current playoff series between the Leafs and the Senators.
I have not yet jumped on the bandwagon. I'm sorry.
No, don't apologize.
Keep me updated. What's happening?
No, it's 2-0 Leafs.
Okay, go Leafs.
And we're going to Ottawa now, and game 3 is tomorrow night.
Okay. Done and done.
So now's the time. Jump on that bandwagon.
Okay. Shove over. Make some room.
You are here because I was chatting with FOTM Mike Wilner, and we were talking about... Actually, the episode was going to be... I think it was going to be about the 2025 Blue Jays season, but I had no interest, much like your interest in the Leafs right now. I don't feel the Jays, and I didn't really want to talk about the 2025 Jays. So we talked about a lot of other stuff. I think it was the best Mike Wilner episode yet, in my humble opinion.
And he's been here a bunch.
How do you know Mike Wilner?
How do I know Mike Wilner? Well, we've been together a few years, actually. We date. He's my fella.
So he's your fella.
He's my fella.
You guys are a couple.
Yeah.
Okay, well done, Mike Wilner. Okay.
I think, yeah. No, I think, you know what? I saw something at one point recently that said, couples, the happiest couples are the ones where each one thinks they got the better deal.
That's a good, okay. So
I love
you
this
think you got the better
philosophy.
deal.
And he
thinks he got the better deal.
I hope he doesn't.
And one of you is
asked.
correct.
One of us. Yeah, one of us got to be. Right? Yeah.
How long have you dated FOTM Mike Wilner?
We're coming up to 3 years.
Wow.
I know.
And how come it took 3 years for him to say, hey, why don't you talk to Arlene Lott?
You're going to have to ask him.
Okay, that's going to be like 90 minutes on that. Visit or whatever here.
Yeah.
So I'd like to introduce you to somebody, Arlene.
Okay.
Because we're not alone in this basement studio. It sounds scary, but it's true, okay? I'm not talking about the ghosts that haunt us. Shout out to the crash test dummies, okay?
Amazing.
There is a super Degrassi fan. I should say that less differently. A Degrassi super fan is to your left.
Okay.
She comes out to TMLX events. These are Toronto Mike listener experiences.
Okay.
She infamously came out to the first one, but was too shy to introduce herself. This is a true story. She will be, just nod yes or no before we introduce you, but will you be at TMLX 18 on June 26th? A thumbs up and a nod. Okay.
Double thumbs up.
Super Degrassi fan who's going to co-host the whole show, but particularly this segment we're going to dive into now. I want to introduce Andy. Say hello, Andy.
Hello.
Oh my God.
So Andy,
fun.
what do you think of Andy's jacket?
Okay, this is an extraordinary jacket. I don't have anything like this. This is like a Letterman jacket, and with all the patches.
It says Degrassi Panthers on the side.
It's got 87 on it. It's from Retro Kid, right? So good. It's so good. We never got we got a bit of merch. I mean, you probably have seen as a super Degrassi fan, you've probably seen some of the authentic merch that we were given while we were making the show. Like we were given t-shirts, we were given Letterman sweaters. You got a Gourmet Scum shirt. Oh my God.
Yeah, I was going to say.
That's a Judy
flash us.
Shiner
Okay.
Toker original, I'm sure. She was our production designer and is brilliant. And if you get a chance to talk to Judy, fantastic.
Well, here we go. Okay, so I don't want to bury the lead here. I called you the Queen of Pies, and then I said you were dating Mike Wilner. Those two alone would get you on Toronto Mike.
Amazing.
Okay, so you're in.
I'm valid.
Just for being the
validated
queen.
right there.
I don't talk to many queens, okay? Just for being the Queen of Pies
Right.
and for dating Mike Wilner, you're in the basement. I'll do 90 minutes on dating Mike Wilner and making pies, okay?
Oh, man.
But I don't want to bury the lead here, so I'm going to introduce this segment in which we're going to hear a lot more Andy because she is the biggest Degrassi fan I know.
I love
but
it.
I'm introducing it with this little ditty right here. Andy, can you name that tune?
Sure can. It's the theme song to the kids of Degrassi.
The Kids of Degrassi Street.
Going way back.
So we're going way back with this one. So on that note, I'm going to crack open my Great Lakes beer.
Oh.
So Arlene, you have a Sunnyside IPA.
Gorgeous.
Session IPA. So and we have a hop pop for Andy, and we're going to do it 3, 2, 1. That's good.
Oh.
It's like we rehearsed it. Okay, so cheers to you.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers all.
Cheers,
Yeah.
cheers.
Cheers to you. Take us way back, and then along the way, Andy and I will pepper you with questions. But how did you become involved in the OG series? Like before Degrassi Junior High, there was the Kids of Degrassi Street. How did you get involved with that, Arlene?
This is such a random thing. And I was rethinking about it this morning because so many things had to happen for that to happen.
Mm-hmm.
I joke and say I'm the child of immigrants because my parents moved to Toronto from Collingwood. But it's like the old world. It's just a couple hours north of here. And so having the opportunity to grow up in the city, I went to the public school, which is right behind the Playing with Time office at
Which
Queen
school
and
is
Carlaw.
this?
That's Moore Street Public School at Queen and Carlaw. And at the time, they were looking for kids to be in a show, right? They were passing around flyers. They were going to local schools. They were saying, hey, we want kids who you think could act, but aren't actors, if that makes sense. They wanted us to be kind of natural and not trained because they wanted to shape us themselves. And I was going to this little school. I was in grade 4, so I was like 9 years old, walking down the halls, and I heard about an audition for the school play, Wizard of Oz. I audition. I go, I sing, I get a part. I get the part of Dorothy.
That's a big part.
I know.
That's the
grade
whole
sixes were
freaking
mad.
thing.
Let me tell you that. Anyway, so it was a swing. So I was narrator one night, Dorothy another night, and it was very exciting. Yeah. And our principal basically said to the producers of the show, hey, anybody who we think would be good for you is in the show. So so he passed along the information to us, and I booked an audition. I don't know why my parents said yes. I don't know why I went to the audition for the play. I don't know a bunch of things, but here we were. And I went and I sat and I did, a script reading with Kit and Linda, who were the creators, producers of the show.
This is Kit Hood and Linda
Schuyler. Yep.
Schuyler, my apologies.
And I remember reading script parts with Kit. He was feeding me lines, and the script was from an episode called Casey Draws the Line. And it was about Casey and Lisa, who was played by Stacey Mistician, who I know you've had here. And they were fighting about a rabbit in the backyard or something. Like, I've forgotten the story, but I just remember reading lines with Kit, and they were like, great, we'll let you know. And I didn't get a role right away, but I got asked to come and do some background work. So one of my first episodes I showed up for, and I have the letter somewhere at home in a photo album, like, one of those peely, sticky photo albums you can,
Of course.
I got the letter where I had been called into work for a day, and I didn't end up getting used that day, just however the day went. I didn't make it to camera. No big deal. I was just supposed to be an extra that day anyway, but I remember getting paid like $10 for a 9-year-old. Big deal, right?
That's a big deal.
It was like 1981. That's so much money. And, but then it just kind of became a summer job. Will you come back? Will you do more? And then it was, hey, we think we could give you a part, and we have a little role for you named Rachel Hewitt. So I did a few episodes as Rachel.
So you were a Rachel on, by the way, Andy, my co-host for this episode, you can just ask anything you want as it strikes you.
And let me tell you this, because people who know the show, I meet with people on occasion. I can generally go through this world unrecognized right now, which is kind of nice. But
because you're not Joey Jeremiah.
I'm not Joey Jeremiah.
Because he can't go through this world unrecognized.
No, and he has that voice, right? Like everybody here... I know, but he has such a distinctive voice, Pat. So you hear it and you're just like, oh my God, I'm 14, right? But I can walk through the world generally anonymously right now. But people who I meet at fan situations and who want to talk to me about this, they know so much.
The Andys of the world.
And so much. I can't believe how much I've forgotten. And I'm so grateful when people tell me stories, because it's like, oh, right. I'm old now. Like, I don't remember anything.
So, but this is okay. So, because we know we'll get to Degrassi in a moment, everybody. But you're Nancy on Degrassi, but you're Rachel on the Kids of Degrassi Street.
Yeah.
Okay. Any kids? Because I want to spend a little time on Kids of Degrassi Street. Here I am doing an on-air meeting with my special co-host Andy. But then we have to spend some more time, obviously, on Degrassi Junior High and then Degrassi High, and then of course school's out. And then maybe if you're lucky, Arlene, we'll talk about you being the queen of pies, for goodness sake.
Amazing.
Holy smokes.
Well,
but Kids of Degrassi
already,
Street, like, I remember a lot of the actors we saw in Kids of Degrassi Street would show up in Degrassi Junior High.
Yeah.
But different character names. Typically, like I know Wheels, for example, played a different character. What was the name of his character on
Griff?
See,
yeah,
and he had the vest or whatever.
Yeah, the jean cutoff vest.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
He was a tough guy. Had the bandana.
Right.
Whole
Okay.
thing.
Well, more on him later.
Yeah.
But for Kids at Degrassi Street, any questions about this phase of the Degrassi universe, Andy?
Well, actually, Arlene has pretty much answered them, because I was really curious. How did that all start? How did you get in there? And that's really cool.
Yeah, it's so random.
Just luck.
Absolute luck.
Yeah.
And what is my life?
Well, you were playing Dorothy. Like you had a desire
Some
to
clout.
perform.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I guess so. I liked to sing. That was
They don't
that
just
was
give
a
that
really
role
big
to
thing for me.
anybody. Dorothy.
Thank you.
You got to be good. Right?
I stopped being humble about it. Yeah, no, I was amazing.
You were Dorothy.
I was, perfectly adequate.
Well, like, better than that. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's not like you were tree number 3, right?
That's right.
Come on. Okay. So this is Playing with Time Repertory Company.
Correct.
Okay. And you're an OG member.
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing. I would just get a t-shirt that said that, and that's what I'd wear. Okay. So let's get to the good stuff. Let's listen.
Wake up in the morning feeling shy and lonely. Gee, I gotta go to school. I don't think I can make it, don't think I can take it. I'm wondering what I'm gonna do. But when I look around, I see that someone is smiling right at me. Wait, that someone's talking to me. Hey, I've got a new friend. Everybody can succeed, all you need is to believe. Be honest with yourself, forget your fears and doubts. Come on, give us a try at Degrassi Junior High.
Okay. First question for Arlene is, how do you feel when you hear that theme song?
It's rather joyous right now.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Has it always been joyous? Because maybe there was a period of time where it was less joyous, Arlene Lott?
Let's say that. Yeah, there were probably times when I wish not that I wish I didn't do it. I'm always thrilled that I've done it, right? Like what a legacy, to have been a part of this uniquely Canadian program is really something to be proud of.
But people of of Andy and my vintage, we have such warm memories of this program that we watched every Monday night on CBC. Like Arlene Lott's coming over. Oh, Queen of Pies, dating Wilner. No, she was Nancy Kramer on Degrassi Junior High. Like, let me just clear my schedule. You know what I mean?
That's such a compliment. Thank you. It's so random, right? Like it's a really small group of people that this applies to, right? Like there were, I think maybe, I don't know, like 40, 50 of us in the Repco. Like there were 2 to 3 classes of us. You were kind of a grade 7 or a grade 8 or, and then at one point they expanded the school to grade 9 or whatever. So it was like there were these sort of groups of us that kind of had to travel together because we were in the same grade on the show. And so it felt very much like school in very many ways. So when you kind of graduate and you leave that behind, there's part of you that maybe wants to move on from that and make your way in the world as a regular human. But
I think you've successfully done so, and we'll talk about that. But now it sounds like you're at a point where when you look back, like nostalgia merchants like me and fanatics like Andy, and I was also a fan. I was watching too every Monday night. But you must now realize like you brought some joy to so many Canadians and beyond our borders as well, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But primarily Canadians. But this joy you brought us, that's invaluable. Like that's priceless.
It is really humbling to think about that. Like I say, when I meet people at conventions, or I haven't done a lot. Like, so you know what? I'm going to take this back to Pat Mastroianni because Pat organized Degrassi Palooza.
Right.
And he reached out to us and was like, who wants to do this thing?
Right.
And I was like, okay.
So you said yes.
And I said yes. And to say yes to that was to, honor that history, but also I want to thank Pat for that, and I have, but I'm going to thank him here as well for just having the concept to bring it all together, because really that has what re-energized my joy.
And what are we doing? Is this 2019? When is this?
Yeah, it was
around then, right?
Wasn't it pre-pandemic? Like it was around then. 2019. Do you know? Were you there? Did I meet you? I'm so sorry.
so.
But Andy, no, that's a good question. Andy, did you go to Degrassi Palooza?
No,
Get out of my basement. What are you here for?
I've been to several other Degrassi experiences. Like there was one where there was a at a theater.
The Schools Out screening.
Yes.
Yeah, I loved that one. Yeah, that was a good time.
So I was there, but I didn't go to any of the Degrassi Paloozas. We had our own, me and my friends.
Come on.
Where we had people come as far away as California.
It's amazing.
To come and do a little tour of,
sure. Because you're not, right now, you're not far from the facade of Degrassi Junior High.
No, we're around the corner from the old building. I was trying to
Vincent
remember.
Massey.
Yeah, Vincent Massey. But it was like around, 21st, 22nd?
Yeah, but it's like north of Lakeshore.
2930. There was a 2 involved.
Elder is the name of the street. Like it's Birmingham turns into Elder.
Okay, I'm going to have to swing by.
It was on Daisy.
Let's go do some photos there.
Wasn't it?
Well, yes, I suppose, because they put townhouses on Elder, but it's like a little bit
I know it's
south of
changed
Elder.
quite a bit.
Yeah. But yeah, so I go by it all the time and I'm like, that was Degrassi Junior High.
Yeah. But like Pat's enthusiasm and his drive to bring us all back together, honestly, was just such an uplifting experience. What a treat.
Okay, now, so I have questions, but Andy has questions too. So do you want to go first? Maybe we take turns?
Sure. Yeah.
But you go first because you're my special guest today.
So I was starting with some like kind of general things. So thinking back to your time on set, do you have any specific memories about specific episodes or storylines that really resonated with you, that you kind of loved being a part of or just loved watching? Or that you just thought were really cool or special that they did?
There are so many. I'm going to go back to, it was one of the ones that I had a bit more of a lead role in, and this was back on Kids Of, and it was called Martin Hears the Music. And this episode had 2 storylines. That had the story about Martin, who was really hard of hearing, and he needed hearing aids and didn't want to have hearing aids because the embarrassment behind that. And also at the same time, my character, Rachel, was going to be singing in the show, and she was freaking out because, you know, she wanted to have a nice dress and she wanted to look good, but Rachel thought she was overweight and she wanted to lose weight for that. And so she was like starving herself and not treating herself well. And, you know, then she gets some guidance to be well and performs this singing song. And it was such an interesting time to learn to be a performer. Like, I really felt like I had a lot of focus on me from the directors, the writers, everybody, the music writers of the show, even like Wendy Watson and Louis Manning. And that's Wendy singing the song, the theme song.
So that's Wendy singing the song. Mm-hmm. Do you know who wrote the song?
Wendy and her partner, Louis, I want to say Manny.
See, Andy knows this stuff, but I'm still learning.
Wendy and Louis did all the music for the show. So like Purple and Blue, you know, will be true. The theme song of Degrassi Jr., or not the theme song, like the school song. Right. That's Wendy and Louis. Wow. Like they did all the music for the show.
Okay. I got to say, as a fan, I got to shout out the fight between Joey and Dwayne in the washroom.
The big fight.
That was
I'm just thinking of
intense.
moments are just popping out now.
Yeah.
Intense, right now.
That was a good one.
Speaking of washrooms, Nancy, when we got onto junior high and high, and for that point, like there was like this running I don't know if it was a gag in the production office or whatever, but I was always leaving the washroom. It was always like anytime there was a scene in the washroom, Arlene's leaving, well, Nancy's on her way out the door. Like she's always in the washroom.
I'm going to admit I never noticed that, but now on rewatch, I'm going to notice all the time.
There are a couple of other fans who I've met who there's a drinking game. There's a Nancy drinking game, and one of them is if I come out of the washroom.
Oh, that's funny.
If Nancy says 200 words.
Nancy says 200 words, shot.
Okay, so now it's... No.
I've forgotten all the rules. I'm sorry, but
so
there
Nancy,
is a Nancy Kramer drinking game.
Well, I'm going to play a little Nancy for those who... For example, Hey Ref is on the live stream now, and he's a little older than us, and he completely missed the show. Like, you really do need to be... I feel like if you have to be of a certain age when this show... And if you are of that age... It hits you hard and it stays with you forever. But if you got like 10 years up on that, you're not watching this kid show.
Right. Well, speaking of Wilner, he's just a few years older than me, and he missed it. Right. Like it wasn't.
But he is
for
73
him.
years old, Mike Wilner.
In spirit, maybe.
So, because Mike, you're right. Mike's not. Mike, I think he's got 5 years on me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, he missed it completely.
Wasn't for him.
Right, he was too old.
It wasn't for him. And we were playing kids maybe like a couple years younger than us. We were very close in range to our characters' ages.
I felt like Joey and Caitlin and Wheels and Snake, I felt like they were my age. Right. So I was born in 74. So I don't know whether
I'm a 72. Like, you know, we're all kind of 70 to 74 in there somewhere.
Andy was born in 89. So I don't know why she likes the show so much. I'll have to figure that out here. Okay, so let me...
Yeah, it was for the younger folks, right?
Let me hit you with some of my stupid questions, okay?
Okay, go.
So... The first episode of Degrassi Junior High, it's really focused on Stephanie K. All the way with Stephanie K. Like, this was a big saying in our schoolyard forever. All the way with Stephanie K.
Or Nicole, yeah.
But Stephanie K, the actress who plays Stephanie K, leaves the show very early in the run. Like, she goes off. And I remember I would see her on a CTV show with Lyle Alzado.
Yes.
The late, great football player, okay? And it seemed, and my perception was that, she left for greener pastures or whatever. Do you know whether there was any thought maybe did she have any interest in coming back or bringing that character back? I got to get her on the program.
You're going to have to get her here. I can't speak to that for her.
Does Andy know?
I don't know. But, you know, we get some updates from 1236. He's always keeping us updated.
We need him on the live stream right now. Tell me what's all the way of Stephanie K. She was a jazz singer. Maybe she still is, but would perform jazz.
And I think she does some like journalism, quasi-journalism as well.
Jeez, all the way of Stephanie K.
I don't want to misrepresent her work right now, so I can't speak to it.
You don't know. You don't know what you don't know here. Yeah. Okay, I'm also going again to tell you. I also watched Beverly Hills 90210. Okay. But to me, no comparison. Like, Degrassi Junior High, vastly superior for my sensibilities and my interests. And I did watch 90210, but it was just like this Americanized, glitzy.
It was very polished.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
but you guys were like real
pretty. They were so pretty. Yeah.
Some of them were pretty, sure. But Degrassi was the I could relate to the Degrassi characters, and the storylines seemed more real and raw.
A lot went wrong for us, though, eh? Jeez.
Yeah. Well, Nancy did all right.
She did okay, but you know what? Like some of that, I have to think. Like she's kind of typecast, right? Like I wasn't the school editor, but I was very involved in the
No, you were the
clubs
you were the
and things
voice
at
of
the-
reason.
I mean, in my real life, right? But like on the show, like editor of the newspaper, student council, like that's very true to form for me in real life
Okay.
as well. So it wasn't a big stretch.
Before
I'll
we
be
get back to
honest.
Andy, because I know she got lots of questions here, but I do have a Cam Gordon question for you. But first, I thought we'd
Okay.
play a little bit of your, for those who
Oh
don't,
my
for
God.
the Hey Refs out there who didn't watch Degrassi, here's how you sounded. I just pulled 1 minute here.
Attention students, don't forget that next Thursday night is when 4 of our finest minds take on Lieberman Junior High on the TV quiz show Quest for
Hey,
the
Kathleen.
Best. Let's all turn out to cheer them on as we
What's
wear
J.D.
our
Salinger's
colours
best-known
with
book?
pride.
Easy, The Catcher in the Rye. Correct.
Easy.
Miss Amy gave us a huge list of sample questions to study. Here's your copy. Thanks. My parents are going to be so proud of me.
Mine too.
And mine. I just know they're going to do something embarrassing. My mom said she bought me a brand new outfit for the show. Nobody's going to see it under your school sweater. Sure they will. Remember, we practice tomorrow at lunchtime. Okay, but I don't need any practice. I don't need any practice.
You can be weird sometimes.
She's a jerk.
So there you go.
That was a great episode.
I love
Quest
that
for the Best
episode
was a
so
great
much.
episode and heavy.
Oh yeah.
Well, yeah,
right?
for
Heavy.
if you haven't- spoiler alert, the mother who was going to buy the dress or whatever, an alcoholic.
Yeah.
Kathleen's
Do you
mom.
know who played Kathleen's mom?
I do.
Tell me.
Stefan Brogren's mom in real life, Snake.
You knew that, right, Andy?
I
Andy
sure
knew
did.
that.
So Snake's real life mom played the mom.
Her name's
of
Sheila,
Kathleen.
maybe?
Sheila.
Yeah.
Lovely lady.
Okay, keep
Yeah,
those fun
fantastic
facts
lady.
coming,
All right,
okay.
more fun facts
Yeah.
at the actual Quest for the Best studio shooting, right? Like where they're filming the episode of Quest for the Best. The extras in the audience, like all our parents.
Okay.
Yeah, my folks are in there.
And this is like a rip-off of like Reach for the Top,
Yeah,
essentially.
yeah.
I guess.
For those, and I watched Reach for the Top as a
Yeah.
kid. Like it was a big deal.
Sure.
I could be wrong, but Wilner might have been on Reach for the Top.
Wilner's a smart cookie. I could see
He's a
him on
very
Reach
smart
for the
guy. I'm gonna
Top.
have to
Find
check
out,
that
confirm that
fact
story
later.
before I
But
go
yeah.
to press.
Will do.
Oh, and
seems,
any
like,
fun-
seems like something he would do, though. Yeah.
Yeah, well, he's a learned guy. You know, he knows his trivia. Okay, your turn, Andy.
Okay, so my question is, so you were on Kids of Degrassi,
Yes.
and then Degrassi Junior High. Was there like a new audition that you had to do, or was it just kind of assumed that you would have a role?
There wasn't. Let me say this. We had agreed that we would all be kind of changing our characters, or they came to us. They asked. They were like, what do you think? Like, would we carry these characters forward? We're thinking about changing them, and we're like, let's change them. You know, whatever. Right? There are no guarantees in life, so let's take that chance. So I don't remember an audition per se. I feel like there was always a place for us, but I think they were just trying to figure out who the show was, like who all the characters were. And for that whole first season, I didn't have a line. I was just in the repertory company. I was in the background that whole first season until like the last episode of the first season of Junior High. And I was like, is this ever going to happen for me again? Like I was kind of like, is it over? Did I miss something? Did I screw up? What happened? And I was seeing all these people around me, like, you know, like these amazing young actors around me. And I was like, oh, well, maybe I don't have the stuff. And then it was like, oh, okay, no, it just took a little time. There's a lot of stories to tell, and splitting it up between, like it used to be, there were maybe 8 of us or 10 of us in the original core group. And then now all of a sudden there's 60. So yeah, it's going to take some time to introduce those characters and weave them together into something that makes sense. But yeah, it was a long waiting process.
Can I ask you about a certain trio?
Of course.
Go.
Everybody get ready and get into gear. The Degrassi sensation is the one and only. The Zits are here. never give, and never give, and never give up.
It's the extended mix.
This video doesn't impress Caitlin? Nothing will. Way to go, Joey.
Well, I had Stephen Stone on the program.
Did you?
And I asked, where's the studio version? Like, how did you manage to not get them in the studio and cut like a proper 45 single
Amazing.
of Everybody Wants Something? And I don't know, it just didn't occur to them. They didn't do it. It's too late now, sadly. We'll get to that in a moment.
Indeed.
But please, let's talk about the Zit remedy. That was Joey, Snake, and Wheels.
Iconic.
And I don't even have a specific question here. I just want to talk about the Zit remedy. Nobody will talk. My wife doesn't know the Zit remedy. She's like, her and Wilner should get together
This
and
is
talk about
embarrassing.
something else.
Yeah. Yeah, no, like legend. And so often, like that jingle, they'll take your money. Like,
But don't you think
haunts-
680 CFTR
haunts
would have
me. Yeah.
played that single if it existed?
Oh, so good.
Right, Andy? What are your thoughts on the Zit remedy?
Blasting that in my car if if the single exists.
We're all worse off for them not
like
making a
Moonlight
studio.
Desires from the movie.
Oh,
yeah.
I actually do have that in my
Shout out to
playlist.
Gowan.
They
Absolutely.
want me. They haunt me. They want me. Yeah, that song was ever present.
Great song. The Zit remedy were great. Now let's spend a moment. Sadder topic, and then we'll get to happier times and pies, etc. But were you close with Neil Hope?
I don't know about close. We were colleagues. We, and when we worked together on a show like that, it's like we were all at school together. So it's very much like your friend, your classmate, your guy you see in the hall every day. We shared a unique history and a unique presence on the Canadian cultural landscape. And we knew that, right? Like all of us kind of like we were going to the Gemini Awards in limos. We were like, it wasn't super fancy. And look, we were very fortunate that this was the day before cell phones. Like there's stuff, but it was really good that a lot of our lives as young adults remained just for us.
Yeah, no social media, none of this Instagram nonsense.
None of this
No
Instagram
TikTok.
nonsense, right? And he had a more elevated experience than I did in junior high and high. Like his character was much more prominent than mine. But I knew him to be lovely and warm and just a nice guy. And I'm sorry, I had heard about his personal problems over the years, and when we found out he had passed, it was really
that's what I was wondering.
like, how
what's
did
it like
none
for
of us
for you
know?
colleagues, former colleagues, when you learn this news, and not only do you learn he's gone way too soon, but you're learning about it now, but this actually happened several years ago. Yeah,
it had been about 5 years that he had passed, and none of us had heard, and it. I mean, you question your own mortality. You question, is there anything I could have done? But we weren't close like that. Like again, I'm going to say it's very much like your high school. How many of your friends did you keep in touch with after? Like a couple, a few that you might see, and a few that I still see in the entertainment business because a few of us went into the business, but not everybody kept in touch over
You
the
might
years.
bump into a couple at Jonovision maybe or something. Did you attend that Jonovision
No,
reunion?
I didn't. I didn't hear about that one. But speaking
They're
of bumping
lost.
into people, last night I'm downtown at Massey Hall at the Chili Gonzalez concert.
Yeah.
Who's sitting a row behind me? Nikki Kemeny, who played Vula.
Okay. Andy just hit the floor. I have to go pick her up. I have to go pick her
So
up.
random. Like I see out of the corner of my eye, I'm like, Nikki?
It's crazy.
Crazy.
Did you ever see Blue Dog Picked?
Keith's
Perform live.
band. Oh my God. Yeah, I definitely saw them play. And that was at, I want to say the Big Bop. I feel like it was on one of the floors because there were like 3 floors in that club. And I am sure I saw them in there.
They played my high school. That's my
Come
yes,
on.
Blue Dog Picked.
Amazing.
We were all wondering, are the twins going to be there? That was the big question.
Okay, and again, random story about the twins.
Yeah.
So one day I take my kid to go swimming at Greenwood Park Pool,
Yeah.
and I'm in the pool, and in walk Maureen and Angela. And now the 3 of us are in the pool having this conversation. There are people swimming by doing double takes. Like, what is... It was so random, but not random at all. It makes perfect sense.
Well, but because a fan
The
of that.
universe will keep throwing us together forever.
That's
I really
funny.
feel this way.
A fan of that pool, I believe, is the legendary FOTM Hall of Famer Cam Gordon.
Come on.
And Cam Gordon, I mentioned earlier, voice of reason. So he says Nancy, let me get this right. Okay, no. Nancy was always so mature and conscientious alongside Lucy and Bronco. He puts them in the same category.
That's nice,
He wants
yeah.
to know your thoughts on who are the most responsible, quote unquote, voice of reason characters on Degrassi.
Oh, yeah, he's right about that. He got like Lucy, Bronco, Joanne for sure was like anchored. She was amazing. Who else was good? I think Kathleen was pretty, I mean, she was tense and intense.
And Vula, too.
And Vula.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Vula
she
looked
was
good,
your
yeah.
moral compass
Yeah.
for a while there. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, Snake was pretty steady.
But did you ever wish your character would do something zany and wild? Like,
I don't know. I don't think I would have had it in me. I liked Nancy.
you
for
could
who
play
she
Dorothy, you could
was.
play zany and wild.
It's a fantasy. I think Nancy was pretty needed in her place. I think she was a good voice of reason. There are always those people.
When Mike was talking about doing this episode, and I was saying to him, like, Nancy was always one of my favorite sort of side characters.
Thank you. Yeah.
Just because, like, I don't know, like, if it was intentional, but there were so many things where I would just, like I said before, like the 200 words, like now when I watch that, I laugh so much.
In my
'cause it's like,
nightmares.
it's like Nancy. She doesn't care about anything.
No.
She doesn't care about the content. She just wants those 200 words.
She's an
Like
editor.
it was awesome. Like I loved it. And if it's okay, Mike, the
Go
other
ahead.
thing that I was talking to him about was in Degrassi High.
Mm-hmm.
There's the episode where you and Joey and Snake are taking driver's ed.
Yeah, I was going to
together.
bring that up when you mentioned the Zit Remedy. There were 2 out of
And
3 of them in there.
I
with
love
me.
that episode. And then at the end, spoiler alert, Nancy is the only one who passes her test.
Thank you.
And she drives up in this sweet red convertible and she's like, look what my parents got me.
Owned by who's sitting beside me in the car? Keith White, who played Tim's car, like Keith's car.
That was my next
Yeah,
question.
That's
that little
Andy's
Volkswagen,
question.
Thank
She
you.
wants to
Volkswagen was
know
owned by-
who owned
owned by
that red
Keith.
convertible
That's
that
right.
you
And-
drove.
And shooting that driving school sequence was actually a lot of fun. It was a very long day in the parking lot, or like in the schoolyard where we were like driving around this course. And I think by the end, like we probably all had whiplash by the end of that. Like we were like slammed forward
And there's the
a
scene
number
where
of times.
the driver instructor is like
Yeah.
wearing one of those like neck collars.
Yes, yeah.
Where it's
We
implied
kinda
that
all
basically
used that, yeah.
he got whiplash. It's
Yeah,
great.
that was
It's
a
amazing.
fun episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Nancy got to be a little sassy in that one. Like she did get a little
Hey, let me on the bones.
little
Now,
sassy.
now, Andy, do you think we could go to schools out now?
We sure can.
Oh man.
Yes, please.
Okay, let's go to schools out here, and
That
we'll,
one has no song. Did it have a song? A theme song? It's not the same. And I was trying to think about that. I'm like, because the other series were so memorable, but I don't think Schools Out had a theme song.
But Schools
to
Out
open.
is the most memorable because we heard the F word
Yeah.
in prime time on CBC.
Do you remember where you were?
I remember which house, I remember where I was when I
When
heard
you
the
watched
F
it?
bomb.
Yeah.
And it's multiple, right? Because Caitlin, okay, Andy, I didn't pull the clip. Can you do it by heart?
Well, it's Snake first,
Right.
Yeah.
talking
Snake
to
first.
Joey.
Yeah. Nobody remembers that.
No.
Right.
And he says, oh, look, Mr. Big Man, Joey Jeremiah, dating Caitlin, but fucking Tessa Campanelli. And then Caitlin is around the corner and hears that. Yeah. You were fucking Tessa Campanelli?
Yeah.
That's pretty good, Andy.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll take it.
And that's like the F bomb heard around
the
the
world.
yeah.
So I was in my first year of university at York University when that aired. And there were watching parties all over campus. But I was living in residence. I was living in Winters College, or Winters Residence across from the college there. And you could hear, like, the windows were open. It was a really nice warm evening and the windows were all open in residence and you could hear you were fucking Tessa Campanelli and the whole university was like, whoa!
Yeah.
Like the whole
And did you own a
campus.
T-shirt that
I
says?
do.
Okay, so
You
what does
were
it
fucking
say?
Tessa Campanelli
So
on the
good.
T-shirt.
Yeah, I'm not even
should make this.
surprised.
How have I not made this pie? That's crazy.
Oh, please.
Pies
make
are
the pie.
coming.
I'm
No,
gonna be making
pies.
a pie.
I gotta know how you become the queen of pies. We're gonna get there very shortly. We talked about Neil Hope dying too soon. Sad story, tragic story there. I feel his character was done dirty. I gotta say, I'm uncomfortable with this ending to School's Out and what they did to Wheels.
Yeah.
I know what the writers are doing because of how his parents are taken, and there's a whole Greek mythology thing going on here. It's Shakespeare, I suppose. But damn, like, you know, the way they did him dirty in that School's Out. And
Not
I
a lot of happy endings there, right?
no. You know, Lucy lost her sight. Is that right? Am I remembering correctly?
But like got it back, right? Like she got
She's got it
she
back,
got a
right?
little bit of it.
Were you
back.
friends with that actress?
With
Aeneas,
Aeneas?
Yeah, Aeneas. I
Again-
butcher every
again,
name. So.
Similar situation, but we've since seen each other at a reunion.
Who are you closest with from the either the OG cast or the Degrassi
Oh, that's a really
Junior
good
High?
question. I would say these days I'd say Pat, and because actually his home is around the corner from my accountant, so I have an excuse to go visit him every single year when I do my taxes. But we always have a little
Pat was
visit.
doing your taxes.
I wish he'd save me a lot of money. But no, I was just with him and his folks the other day having like espresso at his parents' place.
In
just having a little
1989,
visit.
I was working at it's called Papa Ball. It was a game at the CNE, and Pat came by,
Who walked
and
up.
I gave him free games. I couldn't believe Joey Jeremiah was at my booth.
Was he in the
89.
hat?
I can't freak.
Hawaiian shirt?
Well, he was, you know, you can't take the Joey
On a
out of him, right?
skateboard?
Like, he was.
There's so many options.
Yeah, now, like, I mean, if, like you said, we don't have video cameras and recording devices in our pockets in 1989, but if I could only get him to record, everybody wants something for me.
Yeah, that would cost you a lot of money to get him to do that.
So, okay, so School's Out. School's Out is like the finale of Degrassi Junior High.
Yeah.
And I don't know what the ratings were on that thing, but Andy and I have seen it a million times. There's a special episode of Toronto Mike with the aforementioned Cam Gordon where we did a 2.5 hour deep dive into School's Out.
Oh,
Can I just say also, I noticed
Tell
here
me.
that Cam has said, this is a good point. Snake also said to Wheels, I wouldn't be caught dead in that piece of shit talking about Wheels' car.
The mouth on that kid.
Yep.
Okay?
Yep. Thanks,
He
Cam.
grew up well before everybody. Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Snake was ahead of the game.
Okay, and so I don't want to wrap up School's Out. Andy, any School's Out questions? Did you enjoy the soundtrack?
What I remember of it.
You remember Gowan?
I remember Gowan.
Oh, you can't
That
forget
really
and
Gowan.
stuck out
also
for me.
Harem Scarum, right?
How'd you know that was Cam Gordon? Because he signs in as Carlos Delgado.
know.
And the first time he signed in as, shout out to Mike Wellner, but the first time he signed in as Carlos Delgado, I got excited that Carlos Delgado was on the live stream.
I think I was.
What are the odds? Yeah.
excited.
And
I
that
know
he
it's-
knows Degrassi.
You know, that guy should be in the Hall of Fame, the
Yeah,
real
well,
one.
yeah, let's
like
work
Mike
on
was
that.
saying, Mike and Cam did a whole, what was it, 2 hours?
2.5 hours.
special on School's Out.
Did you learn
Harem
anything
Scarum
new
did the
doing
theme, Cam says.
that? Oh, okay. Well, I'll have to go back and revisit.
Okay, we've got a lot to do here. Did you know you were coming by for 90 minutes of questions about your Degrassi crap?
I mean, I did. I should have been more prepared.
You weren't prepared,
I'm
okay.
embarrassed.
And I think in School's Out, there is a scene where you're basically talking about what your future is. And it's not confirmed, but it kind of sounded like Nancy was going to be a doctor.
She talked like that, didn't she?
Yeah. And I think she
Yeah.
was like, and I'll be 4 years and then 4 years doing this. Like I kind of got the
Yeah,
impression that Nancy
Had a future.
is Dr.
Yeah.
Nancy now.
She could be Dr. Nancy.
She could be the queen of pies.
She could be Doctor of
Who knows
Pies.
what
Dr.
happens
Pie.
here.
Doctor of Pastry.
Okay, so Degrassi Junior High, Degrassi High, and then School's Out obviously meant a great deal to many a Gen X Canadian, I would argue, including Andy.
Don't think
who's
you
got
need to
that
argue that.
great,
I think
great
it's fact.
jacket,
Yeah.
so that you can actually go to these Degrassi Paloozas. Are they still happening?
Not in the same way. Like Pat tours with the Degrassi tour, and I have, and that's mostly like him, Stacy, Stefan, Kirsten Bourne.
That's Tessa.
and that was Tessa Campanelli. And sometimes Silak goes. Silak Sanasi, who played Yik. Like it just sort of depends. They do sort of a smaller
Nick and Arthur,
tour.
you know, it's all coming back because I don't even know. Can you see this series on Gem or something? Like, can you see Degrassi
I
Junior
don't
High
know.
today?
It's definitely on YouTube.
Yeah.
All the
okay.
episodes.
All the episodes. Yeah.
It is on a streaming, or it was. It may have been on Prime.
Prime.
Oh, I heard about that. And so people will message me every once in a while and say, oh my God. And I was like, oh, I haven't even watched the whole series with my daughter. Like she didn't really have a concept of what I've been known for or how I got into this business. She didn't really understand this till
How old is she
maybe
now?
She's almost 20. And so, it's not for her, right? But so I showed her the first couple of episodes because we were going to be going to Pat's for a barbecue. He's having everybody over around Palooza time.
Can Andy
He wanted
come to
have
the
all
next
the-
one?
Right? And he was having everyone over just to, get together beforehand. And I said, oh, I'll bring my daughter because I was picking her up from music camp and we'll swing through. And, so I was like, you should probably know what this is. Like I showed her the first couple of episodes and when you watch them back, they're so earnest. Like we would show them to 8-year-olds now. Like they wouldn't be, and I don't mean kids I mean like junior high. And she was just like looking at me like, oh my God. And it's such a different time.
But I'm thinking now Spike had a baby. Shane jumped off a roof.
OD'd and jumped off a roof. Like that's
scared the shit out of me.
It's a bridge, but yeah.
The bridge at the concert.
Why do I think it's a roof? It's a bridge.
After the Gourmet Scum
After the
concert.
Gourmet Scum concert.
Now there was
Luke gave him a tab of something like LSD. What were they?
Definitely
LSD?
acid, right? Dropping
acid.
Yes.
And there was real life events at the time. We hear about someone would drop acid after a concert or something, and then would think they could fly or something like that. It scared me straight.
Or they would drown.
It was Benji. It was a Pink Floyd concert or something.
Yeah, I think it was.
Right.
Yeah.
It was a big deal because I've still not tried acid because I'm really afraid I'll jump off a roof, a building,
You don't
or
know
a
what's
bridge.
going to happen. Just don't do it.
Well, I saw what happened to Shane, and I do know there was post. So now I guess we have the new next generation comes at some point, and of course people like Snake and Spike, they're in the damn show. And Wheels came back for the first episode. I know there was a moment where he got to come back and.
I don't know if it was. I don't think it was the first episode. He comes back.
Because I remember he came back early. Okay, he comes back.
He does come back though.
It got me to the new next generation.
On Next Generation.
But there was a movie where the aforementioned Jono from Jonovision plays Shane because the actor who played Shane said no.
Yeah.
Like this happened, but this is now we're post Arlene Lott.
Yeah, you're post me, but also kind of not. Let me tell you
Tell
another
me now.
story. So when Playing with Time evolved after that show, they did another series called Liberty Street. I'm gonna take you through a couple of little things here to get you to there. They did another series called Liberty Street, and they reached out to everyone who was in the repertory company as actors and said, hey, do you want to come and learn to be a technician? Do you want to come and apprentice in our departments? And at this point, I was just finishing my 3rd year of university. I was at York, and I was doing theater production and design. And I was like, yeah, I could come. I could work in the costumes department because I did costume design, or I could work in the art department because I did set design.
Right.
And so because J.C. Hunter also wanted to do costumes, so they sent her to costumes and they sent me to the art department. And so I fortunately got to work with these like juggernauts of the Toronto film design scene. Like Carol Spear designed the pilot of Liberty Street, and then Tamara Deverell took it over. Carol Spear is David Cronenberg's production designer.
Wow.
Tamara Deverell is now Oscar nominated, has been working for Guillermo del Toro for a billion years. And I've worked with her many years since, right? And then her daughter has worked for me, and now my daughter has worked for us. Like, it's all just sort of crazy. So
Liberty Street helps you segue from
Street's
actress to behind the scenes in the industry.
And a lot of the things, like Tamara was instrumental in just helping me land in graphic design, which is what I do now. I work in film as a first assistant art director. I do graphic design for sets. And so not the visual effects stuff, but the stuff that's real. Like, you know, if this was a set, I would do the can. I would do all the logos on your wall.
I need some art direction in this set of mine. Okay,
it's fantastic. Are you kidding me? It's beautiful.
That's not what Andy said.
So that's what I do now. But really, I started working for her. I didn't have a computer, but I could use a computer. So basically she's like, here, make this. And so I consider myself kind of a master forger. I can look at something and make it. So
amazing.
That's how I got that gig. So
I watched Liberty. I remember because I was a big Degrassi head.
Yeah.
I watched, and Joey was in it.
Yeah, Joey was in it.
He wasn't playing Joey, but
he was in it.
Pat was in it.
That's right. And that was shot in Liberty Street in an old building. I went downtown to do some research for the show, and we found out that the building that we were in, it was 107 Atlantic Avenue, and it was in the archives of the city of Toronto as a tinsel factory. That was its first recognized business.
Oh.
And I was like, oh, I loved this story. I was like, this is so great. And I brought it to the writers and they were like, Are you kidding me? Anyway, after Liberty Street, they come up with this idea they're going to do Degrassi Next Generation. And so they reach out to me and they're like, hey, do you want to design the pitch documents for that? So I was fortunate enough to sit down. I got took all the information. We made family trees. We did all kinds of things. And we pitched that series. It went to the CBC. And CBC passed or they didn't make a deal. I don't know actual details. And then we pitched it to CTV and that was the Next Generation.
Did you know that, Andy?
Well, I knew it was on CTV.
Well, yes, we all know that, Andy.
But it's just such a random.
Did you know that Arlene Lott worked on those pitch documents?
I didn't. This is all news to me.
But
this
then,
is wonderful.
and then just I didn't do the series, but I was art departmenting at that
still,
point.
okay.
And it was
So,
interesting.
Pop quiz. Name the only. No, this is no. We talked about this before I pressed record, but I got the name. Okay, so name the only CFNY program director who also appeared in every episode of Liberty Street. That's the question. Okay. So there's only one human who satisfies both Toronto Mike requirements here.
That's so funny. I cannot remember the actor's name, but the character was it Diamond Dave?
Well, the actor's name was Reiner Schwartz.
Reiner Schwartz. That's right. I can picture his afro.
And he went, close, His character's name was Drive Home Dave.
Drive Home Dave, not Diamond Dave. Close.
Man, I can have all these memories of I remember watching Liberty Street. Like, this was like similar vintage to me, and I was like, oh, they're living like this cool life
it was
in these
supposed to
lofts,
be like
and they're biking, and it's like, I want to do that.
Yeah, it was. What was that? Reality Bites. It was supposed to be that kind of a vibe. Like, what happens to you when you're a young adult, and can you get a job, and can you navigate your life and pay the rent, essentially.
So you mentioned you moved into art direction. Mm-hmm. So I'm just going to shout out, because I don't know, you might be humble and I need to boast for you, to shout out a few of the series that you worked on, okay? And then you can tell us how involved you were. But huge series as far as I'm concerned. Orphan Black.
Yeah.
Did you work on Orphan Black?
Season 1. Yeah, we built that show.
That's a big deal.
It was a big deal.
It's like globally acclaimed.
Yeah. And it was, that was a very exciting series to see grow. And sometimes you work on things and you look at them and you're like, this is fun. And some things are for the money. Some things are for the beauty. Some things are for your heart. This one was like, we knew as soon as we were reading the scripts, we're like, oh man, this is good.
Okay, wait.
It's so delicious. When every script was like, like we were just sitting in the art department waiting for the next script because we're like, what's next?
What a great show to be. Imagine being a part of Degrassi and Orphan Black. Okay, can you imagine?
Mind-blowing.
Yeah,
you're ready for Ridley Funeral Home now, as far as I'm concerned. Okay, very important question though from Carlos Delgado. Okay, should be in the Hall of Fame.
I'm so excited.
The volleyball game at Bonko's Cottage.
The volleyball.
Was the gang actually playing or just pretending to play?
We were trying to play, but it's hard to play volleyball and talk. Like, and hit your mark the exact same place every time.
Well, they did it in Top Gun, didn't they?
With their shirts off.
I'm trying to think of movies that have volleyball scenes, and I can only think of Top Guns.
Top Guns, both of
them.
Top
Guns, right.
The Top Guns.
Okay, you tried to play. Okay.
Yeah, we tried to play. We're not great.
Important follow-up question. Where in Toronto was the house in the Schools Out house party at the very beginning? So there's a house party at the beginning of Schools Out. Where was that house in Toronto? Think back, Arlene, okay? We're really jogging your memory today.
Was it supposed to be Lucy's house?
Yes.
Okay, then that was at 120 Pape.
That's huge. Okay.
And I
Rosie Gray T.O. Roll out.
Regret to inform you that house has been torn down.
Shout out to Ridley Funeral Home.
R.I.P. 120 Pape. That house belonged to Kit and Linda, who were partners at the time, like married at the time. Well, I don't know, married.
Well, they're still
together.
Married, yeah.
No,
they're not married anymore.
No, they split, and Linda's with Steven.
And he's acting like I should know this. He acts like he's still.
And Kit's passed away. Yeah,
Kit's passed away.
But 120 Pape was their home, and we used that as Lucy's house. So anytime there was a Lucy party, it was.
How come I feel like because I just chatted with Steven in depth, and I thought they were together during the chat. But Andy, I'm the
No,
only
they
one.
were. Stephen and Linda.
Stephen and Linda are now together.
Yes.
Right,
But
okay.
Kid and Linda back
Yes.
then.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, way
Yes.
back
I'm
when.
caught up to speed now. Okay.
So
I'm
I
sorry.
am just thinking, though, in School's Out, I'm trying to remember, and I think it was supposed to be Lucy's house, but I don't think it was the same house that they used for Lucy that they used in the series.
I'd have to see it.
Yeah.
I like how we were
Was
moving
I
on with
there?
Arlene and we all came
Sorry.
back
No,
to
no, no,
Degrassi.
this is-
No,
we
that's
can't leave
okay.
Degrassi.
How do you leave it
important stuff.
alone? It's a
But
big
she's the
deal.
queen of pies. We got to talk about
Okay,
that
to
too.
pies. Pies will
But
wait.
we're talking about these addresses. So you mentioned Pape, that 107 Atlantic.
Mm-hmm.
The VP of sales worked at that address for a full year and he hated that job. This is coming from the live stream,
Oh my God, that's so funny.
Okay, this is all very
That's
important. Oh, by the
so
way,
funny.
Carlos Delgado has already updated Wikipedia with this information.
Thanks, Carlos.
Okay, geez, you know what? Hell of a hitter, but principal guy, right? Like when the Star Spangled Banner was played,
Yes.
he wouldn't stand and he would sit like in protest for how they treated his Puerto Rican brothers and sisters.
Wow. Did not know that.
Like he's a principled guy. And
Yeah.
honestly, if you just look at his numbers and you look at his career, he belongs in the Hall of Fame.
Okay.
I think he's being suppressed for playing the bulk of his career in Canada. Just my 2 cents here. You can
Wouldn't
talk with
surpri-
Mike.
I have an
when are you going to see
expert-
Wilner next?
I have an expert on, like right after this. I
Okay,
have an expert on speed dial.
I want to record that conversation when you tell Mike how your Toronto Mike debut went. I need to hear that. Okay, you
I like
met this-
debut as if I'm going to be back. Like I'm somehow like a regular now.
You might kick out the jam.
Debut, yeah,
Okay, so
just-
Orphan Black,
Orphan Black, yeah.
Suits.
Special. Suits, yeah. Seasons 3, 4, 5 of Suits.
Okay, that's
before,
a big deal.
Before we had a Duchess. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
They brought back that show in some form.
Yeah, Suits LA.
Okay.
Suits LA is up and at 'em right now. I have not yet seen it.
What kind of music do you like?
Oh, I'm a throwback girl for sure. Like, let's go 80s new wave.
80s new wave. So
Also,
Spoons?
do for sure.
Is that Romantic Traffic?
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you know who co-wrote that song?
Gowan?
A guy named Rob.
Was it Gowan?
No. Gowan Wishes.
Gowan
He
Wishes.
co-wrote Romantic Traffic.
Yeah.
It's a guy named Rob Pruce, who was the keyboardist for Spoon.
Oh, fun.
But Rob Pruce excitedly yesterday sent me jingles for Toronto Mike sponsors. So I'm glad Andy's here
I
too.
got a little chill.
So I'm going to play the Rob Pruce, and I grilled him on the, because I heard it and I'm like, I think this is like, he's not listening. I think it's like AI slop. I'm like, I really don't like AI slop on my
Oh,
program.
this got awkward.
Right. But Rob explained to me that he's like an arranger. It got awkward, but it's okay. What's Rob going to do?
It's going to be awkward when he
Okay,
hears
Rob
this.
knows I love him dearly. But it's like, he's the arranger, and yes, AI is his instrument of choice for these productions, but he uses them as a musical arranger. So he's not just pressing a button and then this is what spits out. There's a lot more Rob Pruce involved. So I'm actually going to play them one by one, and you two can tell me what you think.
can vote?
And I'm going to give you some gifts for making the trek, Arlene Lott,
Thank you so much.
if that is your real name. John Lott covered baseball. Any relation?
No. And that's what Mike says every time he gets a message from John Lott. He's like, hey, John Lott, no relation.
He took some this John Lott, who's retired now, took some amazing photos of Exhibition Stadium.
Oh, wow.
Because there's not a lot of good photos out there because it's pre-digital and everything.
While you're going through my IMDb, I worked on the last movie that filmed there at Exhibition Stadium.
What movie was that?
That was Detroit Rock City.
The Kiss movie, yeah, with
Heck
Eddie
yeah.
Furlong, which
That's right.
came up organically in the last toast because we played. Yeah, we talked about Detroit Rock City.
How random. Yeah, we used
He was in Terminator
Exhibition
2, for
Stadium
God's sake.
as our exterior.
And you know for a fact that's the last movie filmed at
we
Exhibition
were told
Stadium?
like they were tearing it down pretty shortly after
What
that.
time are you done? We got the cranes
Kinda.
here.
Yeah. it
That's
was supposed to be-
amazing.
was it Kobu Hall? No, what was supposed to be something hall from in Detroit, wherever they were
Okay,
supposed to be.
sure.
Kobo Hall? Kobo Hall?
We'll take
Oh
your
my
word for
God,
it.
help me, internet. Anyway.
Well, shout out to Eddie Furlong, who wore the Public Enemy shirt in Terminator 2. And I
Yes.
was a big Public Enemy. I remember at the time being very excited that he wore the Public Enemy shirt.
So good.
Amazing. Okay. So I'm glad I brought up Rob Pruce, but you brought up the 80s new wave stuff and it all ties in. So I'm going to play some of these and we'll get back. Then we'll talk about your baking career
Yeah.
because I think that chapter is so mind blowing and you're the queen of pies for God's sake. So we have to talk about what the heck's going on there. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Listen closely.
Shout out to Ridley Funeral Home, pillars of the community since 1921.
What do we think about this? Arlene first.
I love that. I love the nostalgia factor. I love the Pleasantville vibes. That extra little bounce at 1 after 20 is a nice little hit. That's a good time.
Andy, what do you think?
I liked it. Yeah, I thought it was cute.
I have one for each of you. Ridley Funeral Home measuring tape. That's for you, Arlene.
This is amazing. I've seen one of these in person.
Have you used one of those?
I get one too. Thanks, Mike.
Of course.
It's so nice.
I've always wanted one of these.
And double-sided, metric imperial.
Yeah.
This is the best.
You can measure pies.
I could measure pies.
We'll get to that in a moment. Okay, so that's the first one. We're going to burn through these,
Thanks,
and then we're going to get
Ridley.
to the pie. I even pulled a little clip about you. Okay. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Palma Pasta, come and taste our authentic Italian cuisine. Palma Pasta, enjoy the taste of fresh homemade Italian pasta and entrees from Palma Pasta. Palma Pasta, we're in Mississauga and Oakville. Palma Pasta, it's the best of Palma Pasta.
How are we feeling about that one, Arlene?
This is delightful.
Do you
This is
enjoy
delightful.
Italian food?
I do enjoy Italian food.
Would you like a frozen lasagna from Palma Pasta?
I would never say no to a lasagna.
It's in my freezer right now for you.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Thank you.
Andy, what did you think of the Palma Pasta jingle?
So are they all sort of in this retro style?
You'll have to tune in to
or-
find out. We're gonna see. We're gonna see.
I thought it was going to have more of like the
Italian?
Yeah.
Well,
Sort of
Rob's listening, as you know.
Okay.
He's taking notes.
Okay.
He's been known to change things and make modifications as he listens to the feedback.
Got to get a real
So
like
that's you wanted to be.
Zappacosta
You wanted
vibe
more
going.
Alfie Zappacosta,
Yes.
Pasta.
who you'll hear at the end when I play the closing
Oh my
thing.
God. We should be lovers.
Well, see, that's you went there. Okay.
But 439.
Yeah.
Pizza
See, she
Nova.
knows. This woman knows her shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Impressive.
I know 2 things. That was it.
Well, that's impressive to
Again,
me.
I've used them all up.
Okay, you ready for this one? We've already enjoyed their wares, but
Yep.
let's talk about this.
It's Great Lakes Brewery, a fiercely independent craft brewery. We believe in supporting communities, good times, and brewing amazing beer. It's Great Lakes Brewery. Order online for free local home delivery. In the GTA, good times and amazing beer. That's GLB.
What do you think, Arlene?
This is very long for a jingle.
It needs to be shorter. See, this is good
What's
feedback.
what's the hook? Where's
Maybe-
the hook?
maybe
I
that
need
one-
a little snip.
Because that one's 37 seconds, so maybe 20 seconds.
I need a snippet. But I like it all.
No, I
Here's
like
my
the
question.
constructive
Here's
feedback.
my question. Are all 3 going to be aired back to back?
They might not be aired at all, actually, but I did want to air them. I did want to air them with you so
Right.
we could have them aired and then we could talk about it.
Right, because as a trio, maybe not enough to distinguish them from each other.
Okay, no, good. I like this
But all
feedback.
beautiful.
Andy, do you agree with this feedback? A little too
Yes, we
similar.
are on the same page
Okay.
with that.
I like the fact that you two could have just been like, "This is awesome, great work, Robbie, way to go." But no, I don't want. No one
Is
wants
that in
that.
poor taste? Did I
No.
just like completely
No.
misstep?
But
But,
I'm-
I feel like they're
because-
all gorgeous.
I love the real talk, and I love it when you're honest like that. I'm giving you some fresh craft beer from Great Lakes Brewery to bring home with you,
Amazing.
Arlene.
What is this place?
So you've got a lasagna, you got a measuring tape, you got a beer. Okay, you ready for the next one?
Yeah.
Yes, we are open. Yes, we are open. An award-winning podcast, only from Oneris. Yes, we are open. Yes, we are open. Hosted by Algrego. He's an FOTM. And yes, we are open. Are we open? Yes, we are.
So your feedbacks, I feel like you're right. They're similar sounding things. They need to be more distinctive and maybe a little shorter.
Maybe a little shorter. I really like that.
Okay.
That was cute.
That's the correct answer. Arlene, I'm giving you a wireless speaker from Anaris.
We are open.
Because with this wireless speaker, you are going to listen to Yes, We Are Open.
Yes, we are open.
and
we are everywhere.
The most city TV everywhere.
Where's Jojo Chinto?
I only got Mark Daly loaded up. Jojo said no to me. So I had I almost called him Stu Stone. Stu Stone was here earlier today, so he's on my mind. But in fact, make sure we come back to Avi Federgreen in a moment. That's a note for you. Okay. But Peter Gross, dear friends.
Yes.
Yeah, I had him in person make a plea to Jojo Chinto to get Jojo on Toronto Mike. And Jojo was like emphatic with his, nope, I'm not talking to any podcaster.
Hard pass, yeah.
So he took a hard pass on that.
I always remember Jojo. He always got the weirdest like reporting jobs. Like there's a cat up a tree. Like Jojo got those jobs.
Well, here's Mark Daly here. Hold on.
The following program contains adult themes, nudity, and coarse language. Viewer and parental discretion is advised.
Yeah.
So the most recent episode of Yes, We Are Open
Yeah.
was Al Grego going to Regina. Have you ever been to Regina?
Never.
No, me neither. Have you been to Regina, Andy?
No. I have been to Saskatchewan, but not Regina.
Where'd you go in Saskatchewan?
Took a flight into Saskatoon.
Did you leave the airport?
Wow.
Yes, and then drove to North Battleford for a wedding.
Okay, that's way up north,
This
right?
is why people go to Saskatchewan.
My goodness gracious.
Weddings.
Okay. They got big mosquitoes?
Not when I was there. It was
I don't know why I
May,
think. Maybe that's Winnipeg. Who knows? It's all the same to me. Okay. So Al sat down with Amanda Ray, who owns Base Studio, a thriving hair salon in Regina. And Amanda shared her story from a stylist to a business owner, the challenges she faced and the resilience it took to overcome them, especially during the COVID-19 pandemic. So please subscribe and listen to Yes, We Are Open.
Okay.
Got it? And with your new speaker.
Brilliant.
You know what? Al would want Andy to have a speaker. I can hear him in my head, like, give Andy a speaker.
Like, Al's a sweetheart.
Give Andy a speaker. That's how Al would say it. Okay.
He's a true sweetheart.
So he's reaching under the desk right now.
Andy,
Speaker!
you know what? Don't tell Lieve Fumka because she wants a speaker too. But I'll give her one next time I see her. I'll bring one to TMLX 18.
This is amazing.
By the way,
Thank
on June
you.
26th, you and Mike Wilner should come to Great Lakes Brewery in South Etobicoke. It's like 30 Queen Elizabeth Boulevard, down the street from the Costco, not far from Royal York and Queensway.
Familiar with that Costco.
Palma Pasta will feed you. Great Lakes will buy you your first beer, and you can hang. It'll be amazing. TMLX 18, 6 to 9 p.m. on June 26th.
Is that a Saturday?
It's a Thursday.
It's a Thursday. Well, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Jays often don't play on Thursdays.
I think Mike told me, because I think I did the same pitch to him, and he said they're off that day.
They're off.
And he might have put it in a calendar. You and Mike Wilner need to come to
Can
TMLX
you
18.
imagine?
Holy crap.
Public
Okay,
appearance.
hold on. I got to finish my Prussian clips here. We're almost done. We're almost done. You ready?
It's
This is
quite
just
an
some
era.
advice, okay?
Yeah.
I don't have a gift for you on this one. I should talk to these people, get you a gift, but here we go.
Okay.
Committing to our planet's future means properly recycling our electronics of the past. We need to do it today. That means we need recyclemyelectronics.ca today.
So if you have old electronics, old devices, maybe you have a drawer full of old cables you don't use anymore, don't throw that in the garbage. Go to recyclemyelectronics.ca, put in your postal code, and find out where you should drop that off to be properly recycled.
I'm not even kidding. I have a whole drawer of cables.
I'll bet you do.
I
I bet you
don't
got some
know- I don't
some
know
Kids
what
of
they're
Degrassi
for.
Street cables that you gotta.
I don't have cables, but I do have a box somewhere in the house of VHS recordings of the original series. I don't know if they're any good. And
We'll
I'm afraid to
send them-
actually put them in a machine because
Well,
they'll probably just disintegrate.
You know, you got to
snap
send
right
those
in
to.
the-
You got to send those to Ed Conroy,
Oh, you have
also
a person
known
who,
as
like,
Retro Ontario.
Does he
Do you know this name?
transfer? I know Retro Ontario.
Yeah. So his name is Ed, and he's very interested in old VHS of that nature.
Wow.
We could get it to him.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I bought a VHS machine with one of my work checks when I was a kid.
$10?
Yeah. No, it was like a lot of money. It was like $200.
No, I meant those.
back in
You
the-
were getting $10.
Oh, with
in the
my
beginning.
$10. No, eventually we made a little bit more, but it was like such a big thing. And I remember wanting to buy it because there was going to be a free Much Music weekend on cable television. And I wanted to have a VHS machine to be able to record a Duran Duran documentary.
No, you're
called
speaking my
Sing
language.
Blue Silver.
Okay, you know the name. Okay.
Yeah. And I
you-
had to have that machine by then.
Did you make
it was
the mistake?
a top loading. It was the whole, yeah.
Did you make the mistake I made in that you sat there and edited out the commercials, and then years later you realized that
Oh, you
that's
pressed the recording at
well
the
you
wrong
wanted the commercials, but at the time you didn't want the commercials. But now you would only want the commercials.
No, I wasn't so
That's a me thing. Okay.
I wasn't so buttony.
All right. So two more,
Very clicky.
and then we're gonna talk pies. Two more. Shout out to Nick Iones. This is your jingle, Nick.
Building Toronto's skyline. It's a podcast and book from Nick Iones, sponsored by Fusion Corp Construction Management.
Perfect.
That's the perfect length,
It's
right?
perfect.
10 seconds.
Perfect.
I think your feedback is excellent. I think you're exactly right.
Done. No notes. Yeah.
Now, this one's going to be 3 times that length, but you're going to get an amazing present at the end of this, and I can't wait to give it to you. Here we go.
Silverwax.ca. Absolute care for your car. From beginners to experts, Silverwax is a name to remember. Use promo code Toronto Mike 10 at checkout to save 10% at silverwax.ca. Silverwax.ca.
The ending there sounds to me like Son of a Preacher Man.
Oh.
Right? Like,
okay.
I'm going to play that ending again,
see where
right?
you're
So
going.
listen to this. Okay.
That was lovely.
I have from Silverwax, and everybody listening, remember the promo code is Toronto Mike 10. Use it liberally. It's amazing. I can't believe I'm giving you this robust kit. It's unbelievable. This giant bucket, these 2 spray bottles, the interior and exterior of your car, it's going to be the sheen. It's going to sparkle. It'll be so damn clean. It'll be so easy for you to do. Even Mike Wilner can borrow the kit and use it on his automobile.
Lovely.
That's for you, courtesy of Silverwax.
Thank you, Silverwax, because my car is very old and very sad, and this will make it much happier.
All right, so here we are now, finally. Okay, here's how we're going to get there.
I'm Arlene Lott, the Princess of Pie. Look at
Princess.
this incredible pie topper. I'm going to show you just how easy it is to make. All you'll need is a stencil and a relaxing Sunday afternoon.
Do you have both
I've
of those
prepared
things?
my pastry, and I'm going to just finish rolling that out. We'll
You
get it
rolling a
into our
joint
pie
here,
plate.
Arlene? Holy smokes. So I'll bring it down.
Just coax it
That
into
is where you
place.
announce that you are the princess of pie, and I've been calling you the queen of pie. How did this happen? You're working in art design, and I mean, just how did you become the princess or queen of pie?
Okay, so I have often said the CBC is the gift that keeps on giving. Everything, my whole life has somehow gone back to the CBC. Which
Well,
is
let's hope the
really
Conservative
interesting.
Party of Canada doesn't win on Monday.
Yeah, from your lips to the universe's ears. We need this institution. I feel very strongly about this. My first day working at the CBC, so I worked at the CBC for a bit. So I was working in art departments and film, and then the writers' strike of 2007 hit the film industry. Okay. And so we didn't work for a long time. And I wasn't quite sure what I was, or was it? Oh, maybe I'm ahead of myself. No, it was around 2007. I had a friend who was working at the CBC. She was coordinating audiences for Air Farce, for Royal Canadian Air Farce.
Yeah.
And the CBC was coming up with a new lifestyle show called Stephen and Chris.
Yes.
Hosted by the
yes,
designer.
I know
Stephen
this, yes.
Sabados, Chris Hindman.
Yeah.
Chris is no longer with us, sadly. But it was a very interesting time. And she said to me, hey, you're not working right now. Do you want to come and work and help me coordinate audiences? And I was like, okay, I could probably do that. I don't know. So I would call my friends and be like, hey, you guys want to come to a taping? Like, whatever. And people's moms would come. And it was lovely, right? It was wonderful. But my first day working at the CBC, I walk in. I went to a audience session for The Hour with George Stroumboulopoulos.
Right.
His guest that day, Jean Chrétien. You know,
some guy.
Yeah, some guy. I'm in the elevator after I start working there a little while later with Peter Mansbridge, who, you know,
FOTM, Peter Mansbridge.
Peter was carrying a printer. to his desk, and I like get in the elevator. And I'm like, do you not have people to carry your printer, Peter? Like, is this anyway? I feel like we don't have conscription in this country, but I think everybody should go work at the CBC for a year just to see how news moves across this country. I think it's an almost impossible job to tell people from coast to coast to coast how we do things. I think it's a very important place. Anyway, so I was working at the CBC in lifestyle television, and my audience coordination time was kind of coming to an end, and there was still a few more episodes of Stephen and Chris to go with that first season. And I went to the producers and I was like, hey, listen, you don't really know what I actually do, but I kind of do this art direction stuff in the real world. Like I won't be doing audience for you anymore, but thanks, it was nice. And maybe next year, if you have room on the crew, I would love to come and work with you. And they said, you know what, don't go, like stay and come and be Steven's DIY producer for a little while. So I, worked with him directly for a bit and was able to infuse some graphics and like do some other things. It was so exciting. It was such a wonderful time. It was the first time in a career move where I ever took a chance and asked for what I wanted. And it was this beautiful moment that was reciprocated. How fortunate, right? And so I met a lot of people working at the CBC. Sure. Anyway, film kicks up again. The economic downturn of 2008 happens. The show gets put on hiatus, so I go back to film. Not that I didn't look back. I really loved lifestyle television. I thought it was a lot of fun, but I think I ended up I think it cost me money to work there. But it was a brilliant time in my life and really good for my soul and good for my creativity and good for a bunch of things. So anyway, met those contacts there. And like I said earlier, my friend Portia, who coined that phrase, the Princess of Pies, she reached out to me, and she was the head of CBC Life at the time, or she was doing directing the programming there, or whatever. She was in charge of all of that, the exec there. And she said, I want you to come and shoot a segment with me. And I was like, what do you mean? And she's like, yeah, we have this idea. Like, do you want to do this? And I was like, be on camera. And she was like, yeah, we want you. And I was like, I haven't been in front of a camera.
Yeah, Nancy Kramer was a long time ago.
And, I was like, what do you, like me? And she's like, yeah. And I was like, okay. So I decided to do it. And I've been really fortunate in my life, and I'm pretty good at seeing a good door to walk through. And that was a good door. And that comes from like the pie thing in general. My mother was like your classic 1950s housewife.
June Cleaver.
And her name was June. And my dad was Bob. So yeah, June and Bob. And
not Ward.
It writes itself. And so she made a mean pie. She made a wonderful pie. And so I learned how to make pie from my mother. And to me, like it's love, right? Like pie is love. So, and I think a lot of people are afraid to make a pie. And why would you make a pie when you can walk into the grocery store and get one for like $7? Why would you go to all the trouble except for that you want to, You're
the princess of pies.
Yeah, I am now. Yeah. Yeah.
You were on a podcast hosted by Leslie Taylor. Do you remember this?
Yeah.
Okay. So Leslie Taylor, probably listening to us right now.
Leslie Billion. Yeah. She's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. And she's got a baseball connection, You can,
I
this.
do.
Okay,
Yeah.
Okay. I was gonna say you can tell Mike Wilner this story. He'd be interested in the rest.
They
of
know each other. Yeah.
Okay. Very good. Very good. So where has this Princess of Pie taken you? I'm just trying to understand. Where has this esteemed title taken you, Arlene?
So there's been a few things with pie, like. Maybe, I don't even know how long ago it was, 7-8 years ago. Instagram was a wonderful thing that was new and fresh. And I happened to see a pie artist on there who cut letters out of pastry instead of just making a regular solid top or lattice top or, all those things that we know to be your classic toppings. And I was like,
oh yeah, I know all of them.
Oh, you mean I can take the graphics work that I do?
Right.
And transfer this to pie? Duh. Right? Light bulb moment. Thank you. And so I started doing pastry art, pie art. And there were sort of a few of us out there doing it, not a ton. Maybe 12, 15 of us that I could name off the top of my head.
Stenciling? I don't even know what we're...
Some of it is like you might start with a stencil. You might just freehand it. You might use cookie cutters. You might use whatever you have around your kitchen to cut.
Did you know this, Andy?
Well, Which part of it?
I don't know. Did you know any of this? Like, so you can make, I don't know, theoretically there could be like a Rob Proust pie.
Yeah, or there could be.
Whoa, Arlene is going into a bag. Watch your head there.
very
Okay.
exciting.
Yeah. Okay, this is exciting. I'll do play-by-play here. She's reaching into a
Need
bag.
a drum roll.
What? I do have a drum roll. Should I do it?
Spun a
Do you
little.
want a drum roll, Arlene?
Yes.
Because I loaded it up for somebody else.
Roll.
Oh my God! So I was trying to, like, that's amazing. I was trying to visualize.
Pie.
So I have to, that's amazing. Okay.
I never go anywhere empty-handed.
Okay, wait,
so
can I
you
see
have
this?
presents. I have presents.
So am I allowed, I guess
For
I
you.
can't
This
angle
is
it
for
too
you.
much, right?
Yeah, be careful that letter. The E spun on me in transit, but there you go.
So multiple things. One is, I told my wife, the Queen of Pies, although now, do you want Princess of Pies? Like, what do you
I
want to
don't
be?
care. You do what you got to do, man.
So it's your title. So I mentioned the Princess of Pies was coming over, and she goes, "Is she going to bring a pie?" And I said, "Well, I didn't ask her to bring a
dare
pie.
ask,
Like,
you
I
know?
would have, I mean, I don't know if she's going to bring a pie.
not assume,
but this has
but-
got some heft to it.
It's a glass plate. It's just,
And the stenciling, which I'm going to make sure I get a photo of, that you did here, is the Toronto Mic logo, essentially, with the microphone. This is now I know what you're talking about.
Gorgeous.
Pie art.
Yeah.
Yeah, and because I do graphics in film. Oh wow, it did actually. Hold on, I want to take a picture of you holding that pie, like in your studio.
Okay, take a photo.
Okay,
Andy
let's
will
just
entertain
take
us with a
moment.
story of her
Sing us a song.
rebellious youth.
I'm very curious. What kind of pie?
That is a blueberry pie, wild blueberry with a little, it's a tiny little
Mike,
bit of
how lucky are
cranberry.
you?
You know what? Blueberry is an amazing.
I
fruit.
took a chance because I don't know if you have allergies. I don't
No
know. if you
allergies.
have whatever. Oh, thank God.
I lived my whole life.
I don't know if you hate fruit.
No,
Like
I
some
love
people
fruit,
hate
actually.
fruit.
No, fruit's my friend, but Reggie's and I are learning to get along. But for my whole entire life, I was told I was allergic to penicillin because of a reaction I had as a baby.
Okay, I didn't put any in there.
No, but the story has a happy ending, which is in my 40s, I thought, maybe I should get tested. Like, maybe it's not
Yeah.
true. Because all my life, I've been saying every time you get
Right,
asked,
and
you're
you don't know
allergic.
if you pass
No,
it on
yeah.
your family, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. And I got tested, and then I'm not allergic to penicillin. So, I lived with this. I don't know if it went away or if it was just bullshit from the beginning.
Did it nag at you? Has
No,
it been a fear
but
like your whole life?
Do you know
and if
how
you had known how
every
many
time you're
times?
sick, they want to give you penicillin?
Yeah, that banana stuff.
Is
when
that-
you're a
well,
kid,
I
right?
wouldn't
Like
know.
the banana antibiotic. Right?
I
You
never
wouldn't
got.
know. It
I
was
never got to
delicious.
enjoy it.
I'm not even
Andy,
kidding.
do you enjoy
Yeah.
penicillin?
The banana stuff? That was
banana
that
cough
was the
syrup
good shit, man.
for when you got like strep throat or
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah, it was good stuff. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm blown away. You know what? You've earned your lasagna. I know
Aw,
all the
thank
goodies here.
you.
Thank you so much for the pie.
Yeah. So,
And-
so this is what I do, right? Like I look at images.
ArleneLott.com.
Yeah, that's the website.
Well,
The
then just letting the listeners know they might want to go find out how to get a pie.
I will. Yeah, you can commission me through the website. Also, my Instagram is Arlo Designs, and that's a place you can see more of my current work. To be honest,
Arlo Designs.
yeah, I don't update the website as often as I should, which is ever. So, but I do respond to my messages that come through the website if you want to commission something. But I do cakes, I do pies, I do dessertscapes, I do all kinds of things. But that's the side hustle. That's the side hustle for when film slows down. I think everybody who works as a freelancer, especially in entertainment, it's really handy to have a side hustle that you can turn up and turn down.
No, it's amazing. So this is how I see your life, right? Like you've got your main gig, and then you got this amazing side hustle where you're the princess of pies, for God's sakes.
Yeah.
And then you have this other I can also do the Degrassi nostalgia circuit. Do you know what I mean? Like you can get pulled into the Andes of the world, or just
Andes of the world.
dying.
So and sometimes in film, there's crazy overlap. We'll see people who were our crew members back then, or cast members who now work in film. When I worked on The Strain, there was myself.
Another big show.
Myself, Silexi Sanasi was an AD on that, who played Yek, and then Darren Brown, who played Dwayne, was also an AD. So we would be standing in the kitchen some days, getting a coffee, whatever, and Miles, who was one of the executive producers of the show, would just walk by and just start giggling because he's got 3 Degrassi kids on his staff.
Andy would freaking have kittens.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really weird.
She's going to start watching
really
The
weird.
Strain because she knows what's going on behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And you worked on the Killjoys, right?
I worked on the Killjoys. I did seasons 4 and 5 of Killjoys. Yeah. And the production designer of that was Ian Brock. Ian Brock was a grip on Degrassi when I was 9. Like he, eventually.
Oh, Andy
became-
knows that. Okay,
And
she knows all the grips.
And when I went back to work in film, and I went to work on what show was it? Riverdale.
Yeah.
Riverdale.
It's
Ian was
Cynthia
the
Dale, right?
Ian was the.
Oh no, is this the
production-
Archie's one? There's two,
No,
Riverdale's.
not the Archie's.
Yeah, the
one.
Cynthia Dale
It
one.
was the Canadian
Yeah.
Coronation Street.
Cynthia Dale. I
Essentially,
think.
I don't know if Cynthia was on.
Why
it.
do I think Cynthia Dale was in Riverdale?
Melissa DeMarco.
Who's on Degrassi, The Next Generation?
Yeah, and who was like that? So many people. Stuart Arnott.
Was Mr. Ravitch a good guy?
Radich? Yeah,
Radich.
he was
Okay.
lovely. Dan, he's
I was remembering him in
lovely.
my head as Ravitch. It's Radich.
Radich, yeah.
He's a good guy.
Yeah,
'Cause
lovely.
I liked his voice.
Great voice.
What about Miss Avery? Great
Amazing.
voice. He's a
It was
great-
just her birthday yesterday, I think. Yeah, Michelle Goodeve on Earth Day. Earth Day is her birthday.
Okay.
Yeah, lovely human.
Okay, you're a lovely human as far as I'm
Aw,
concerned.
this has
Andy,
been
this
great.
is your last chance here because we're done now. Any Degrassi questions that have been lingering in your mind for this past several decades? You have an OG Degrassi person here.
I don't
She's
even-
also the Princess of Pies, and she's dating Mike Wilner.
It's so
Well, I will
random and
say
weird.
that I do follow you on social media,
Oh,
and your
amazing.
pies are gorgeous,
thank
and
you.
the odd cake that you do, like it's incredible work, really. And for someone like me who is not particularly artistic, it's really impressive.
You know
Yeah.
what? Come over. I'll give you a lesson. I think the thing about pastry, it's like a dog. It senses fear. So if you are afraid, the pastry will tear. It will break. It will do whatever. Just zen out when it's pie time.
Anything we don't know about Mike Wilner, but we should know that you'd like to share with us?
Nothing I can disclose.
Did he tell you, don't you dare
No, he did
tell
not.
any
He
Mike
did
Wilner
not.
stories on Toronto Mike?
No, he wouldn't dare.
Can we do 90 minutes on Mike Wilner? I didn't. That was the pre-interview.
Just you
Arlene.
two? Okay, I gotta go.
I didn't record this. This is our pre-interview. You ready to start?
Yeah, let's go. Let's go.
Andy, how was this for you when you saw this studio? Because you've heard many an episode of Toronto Mike, and you saw the studio for the first time today. You'd never been down here. What were your honest feelings?
It was a little underwhelming, I have to say. Yep.
She tells it
Shout
like
out to
it
Chris
is.
Murphy from Sloan.
But I only say that because when you watch it online, you watch the video or the live stream, it looks so big.
Smaller than you thought is what you're telling me. You thought it would be. You
I'm
thought it would be
sorry.
bigger.
I did, Mike, but
You
I'm
hear this?
sorry.
That's some low-hanging fruit right
It
there.
was a little
She's got- you know what?
smaller than I thought.
You no longer get the Ridley Funeral Home measuring tape. If you
It's
thought it,
mine.
how big do you need it to
So
be?
that she can't measure. This is yeah.
And it's not the size; it's the content of the character, the product that you get to listen to. On
Which is
Toronto Mike.
fabulous, Mike.
Oh,
So
thanks!
much-
I was just waiting for that.
The highest
so.
of quality.
And how was this for you, Arlene Lott?
What a great time. Thank you so much.
Amazing. Okay, we got to take our photo after this.
Yes.
And I'm gonna get a photo of this pie before I eat it all tonight.
Amazing.
Go Leafs, go! Any predictions for Monday?
No.
The election, I mean.
Oh, yeah, no.
No, like Andy, do you have
No.
any predictions for Monday? Because this is recorded.
I know. I don't.
have-
I'm scared I will jinx it if I say anything.
I-
so
Do you want me to make a prediction?
Sure. Why not?
Have at her.
Pretty big majority for the Liberal Party of Canada. Pretty sizable majority.
I'm just going to note that Mike also said that Hillary Clinton would win. So
I also said Kamala Harris would win.
yes, you did.
So this will be 3 strikes, I'm out.
No, we can't afford your strikes, sir.
And that brings us to the end of our 1,000. By the way, Avi Federgreen is a friend of yours. You want to shout him out?
Oh, we have not seen each other in a super long time, but we worked together on Liberty Street.
So
Hey,
Avi was here
Avi.
earlier today for his podcast, Unleashed. His special guest was Stu Stone, FOTM Hall of Famer.
Amazing.
People should listen to episode 3 of Unleashed
Okay.
by Avi Federgreen.
Amazing.
And that brings us to the end of our 1,678th show. That's unbelievable to me. What a big number that is. Okay. Go to torontomike.com for all your Toronto Mike needs. Go to arlenelott.com for all your pie requirements. You can commission her, I learned. I like that. It's like a painter.
Yeah, it's bespoke. Yeah.
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 That word pops up everywhere. Like everything's
'Cause it's
bespoke.
fancy.
The
That's right.
pizza shop is the bespoke pizza place. The mortgage brokers are bespoke mortgage.
Customized to you. Yes.
Much love to all who made this possible. That's Great Lakes Brewery. You got your beer. Palma Pasta. I've got your lasagna. Maneras. You've got your speaker. Silver Wax. You've got your car care kit. recyclemyelectronics.ca, Building Toronto Skyline, and Ridley Funeral Home. Andy just made a measurement and says it's too small, Mike. See you all tomorrow. So I mentioned Chris Murphy, underwhelmed. Do you know who my guest is tomorrow? It's Andrew Scott from Sloan.
Amazing.
I will have all 4 members as FOTMs, assuming he doesn't Buffy on me. But that's tomorrow, 2 p.m. You can watch us recorded at live.torontomike.com. This is Romantic Traffic.
Thank you.
See you all tomorrow.